Hello everyone and welcome to my channel, The Visibility Effect. Please subscribe for more updates, there's a lot more to come. Would you wish to discuss any other topic? Please make a suggestion in the comment box. Thank you again for listening. So today we're going to talk about hope in times of despair with the example of the coronavirus. Unfortunately, it has been a topic on every channel, in every conversation for the past 2 to 3 weeks. Other European countries have been affected. Worldwide, it's the main topic. So what do we do in times like this? How do we keep our mind positive? How do we take the fear away from us? The fear of a disaster does not mean it has yet happened. One of the best books I know so far, the Bible, has this verse: everything is possible for him who believes. This is from Mark 9, verse 23. So this word is very powerful for me, believe. It doesn't matter what's happening right now, you still need to believe. You need to believe that everything will be fine. You need to believe that everything will get under control. It doesn't matter how bad it's getting. In China, it got worse, but eventually the disease came under control. Something was done about it. And us as humans, sometimes we're carried away by fear and by some of our emotional states rather than believing in something positive. I understand it's very difficult to believe that the best is still to come. I understand, given the circumstances, especially with the news, with the coronavirus all over the news, or whichever event it might be. If this event is all over the news, unfortunately, we're surrounded by the media, whether it's social media, whether it's the TV, wherever we go. At the moment, it's just the coronavirus. But the only thing I can say now is keep calm and believe. Fear creates emotional instability and possibly mental health issues. So if we're not careful, a lot of us will come out of this ordeal with some mental health issues due to loneliness and the fear of what might happen. Fear usually creates a mental exaggeration of what could be the consequences of an event. So let's take, for example, this coronavirus. For most of us, we're fearing the worst. We're fearing we're fearing a massive disaster, really. So we think, maybe tomorrow, or although we hope it doesn't happen, but the fear of the virus getting hold of us, getting hold of our families, and suddenly having everyone in isolation, that fear makes us behave in a certain way. Okay, the fear stops us from thinking objectively. The fear increases our level of selfishness. So what's been happening recently is that I went to the supermarket yesterday and the day before, and it's just horrendous because everyone is getting everything. Toilet rolls, pasta, rice, these shelves are empty, literally empty. And it creates selfishness because I saw someone taking about 20 packs of massive bags of pasta, and there was an old lady behind this person, and the lady was asking for one bag, just one small bag, and the person literally refused. So what are we becoming? Unfortunately, events like this will get the animal out of us. This is where the positive mindset comes into action. So what kind of humans do we want to be? Are we there yet? Do we think it's the end of the world? Or Is it just the fear that's pushing us to think that something bad is happening? Yes, it's bad. I'm not saying it's not bad. What we need to do is to stop a minute and then think objectively. If we have fear in us, it stops us from thinking. It stops us from reasoning. We become like animals. And this is what we don't want in a state like this, because the consequence of our reactions will create another issue, will create an even bigger issue than what was supposedly meant to have happened with the initial problem, which is the fact, in this case, for example, the fact that people are piling up, they're shopping, they're buying everything. It just might create another social issue, which is people piling up stuff they don't really need at home and leaving the vulnerable at risk, really. Because can you imagine an old person who is not able to have a massive shopping, an 80 years old man or woman living on their own, they can only carry so much at a time. They've not been able to order online, maybe because they don't know how to use. They're not that good with IT, and they can only carry maybe one bag at a time. So we're going to create a need for that person, and that person will not know where to turn to. It's understandable for everyone to feel the need to protect themselves, but at the end of the day, we live in a community. And it's important we care for each other. Another thing that's really important when a disaster strikes is to follow the government directives. So wherever you are, for me, for example, I'm based in the UK, and at the moment I'm following the rules set by the government. Some of the simple rules when it comes to what we're facing right now, the coronavirus, some of the simple rules is to wash our hands and to use the sanitizing gels. It is just to wash our hands, to be clean, really. To make sure that our hands are clean all the time, because we do not realize how much we touch. We touch the door that someone has touched before. You get on a bus, you press the button. You get in the lift, you press the button. And if someone has been infected and has touched the lift or whatever you're touching, then that's a contaminating agent. That's how the virus can be passed from one person to another. So self-care is very important. So what are the rules? Knowledge is power, they usually say. Know what you need to do. At the moment, there's a lot of emails and directives and everything online, uk.gov, gov.uk website, wherever you are. I'm sure there's something about it. Just go and read the directives, read the rules, and follow the rules. If you're someone who has been contaminated and has been asked to self-isolate, then do so, and do so in the best possible way you can. Do so in the best possible way you can, because then you don't allow other people around you to be at risk. It doesn't matter what disaster it is, there's always going to be a directive from your local government. Follow the rules. And the other thing as well is to follow your instincts when it comes to safety for yourself and other people around you, mostly vulnerable people. So yeah, we have the directive, we have the directive set out by the government to follow, but sometimes these directives do not cover every aspect of safety. And us as human, we need to think at a very detailed level what we can do to remain safe. It's also important to think about the vulnerable groups. In this case, referring again to the coronavirus, the vulnerable groups have been the people aged over 65 years old, people with weak immune system, people with asthma. So we have to be wary of this kind of people. How can you protect them? How do you think you can protect them? Again, there's going to be a lot of directives on what you can do to help this vulnerable group to remain safe, and for yourself to remain safe. Again, for yourself to remain safe, wash your hands, do what needs to be done to remain safe. Okay, but only help when you can. Helping doesn't mean that you have to put your life at risk because you want to help the others, unless, it doesn't mean that, no. Only provide help within your ability. Do not put your life at risk, nor anybody else's. It's important to help within your ability. Find out how you can help through the proper channels within your area. There's always a way to help, whether it's helping someone to do their shopping, whether it's talking to someone who's in self-isolation, and it depends. This can apply for any disaster, really, for any disastrous circumstances happening where you are. There's always a way to help. How can you help? But it's very important to take into account the fact that you shouldn't, if you're going to help someone, make sure you can really help that person. Okay, don't put them further at risk because you thought you could help them. If you think you can help them on your own, or do you think you need more help to help them, then think about it carefully before you go ahead. This is my favorite bit. Okay, it doesn't matter what's happening, whether it's a disaster on a global level, on a personal level, on a national, international, it doesn't matter where the event, the circumstances, the accident, the disaster is happening. Stay positive. Very, very important. Stay positive. Never despair, even in worse circumstances. A strong positive mental attitude will determine the outcome of events unfolding around you. Don't believe everything you hear without further research. If the event, burden, disaster is unbearable, cry if that eases the pain, but then wipe your tears and keep going. Because think about it, if there's something bad happening, and you tell yourself, oh, this is the end for me, by saying this is the end for you, you've given yourself, you've just stopped things for you. You've just told yourself you've declared defeat, really. A positive mind is a fighting mind. A positive mind is a mind that always says, it's possible to do something above what's happening now. If there's coronavirus, it's not the end of the world. It's true, it's increasing, but it's not the end of the world. It's not the end of the world because we can still do a lot to save each other. It doesn't matter the circumstances. As long as you're alive, you can still do something to save yourself and to save others. You can still do something to change the situation. Okay? It's important to understand that our mental attitude will determine the outcome of events we're facing. If you're facing a difficult situation and you tell yourself, "Oh God, it's over, I can't do it," then you're telling your brain you cannot do it. You're shutting down, and you will not be able to do it. And if you're not able to do it, you tell yourself, "Oh well, I told myself I will not be able to do it." No, it's because you gave this information to your brain that you cannot do it. But if you say there's a way out, there's a way to do this, then you become a fighter. So become a fighter regardless of the situation. Okay, and I love this quote. A strong positive mental attitude will create more miracles than any wonder drugs. And it's true. It's true. Miracles happen every day, but it depends of your mindset. If you have a negative mindset and you think, well, the end of the world is just round the corner, coronavirus is round the corner, as soon as I get out, I'll be infected and that'll be the end for me. If you're always thinking that something negative is around the corner for you, then eventually don't be surprised. Don't be surprised with what happens to you. But if you have a fighting mind, staying positive doesn't mean that nothing bad will happen to you. No, it just means that you come out of it through the other door, through the big door, rather than the smaller door. You'll be a winner. You'll be a winner no matter what. Some people are cured from cancer. Some people are told they have a few days to live, and they live for another 5, 10, 20 years. So what makes the difference? Why? So that's it for today. Thank you very much for listening. It was a pleasure having you. Again, subscribe to our channels. There's a lot more to come. Tell us what you want us to discuss, to talk about. Subscribe, like us, and share now, please. More surprises to come for you. Thank you very much.